Welcome to the Consciousness OS portal. I'm Katryn Rose. In today's episode, this audio activation, we are diving into the language of angels, how divine messages, subtle signs, and your own intuition may be guiding you more than you realize. This is not just a teaching, it's an invitation, a frequency, a remembrance of how to listen beneath the noise and hear the whispers of the divine. So settle in. Let this be a moment you return to wherever you need clarity, because something in you already remembers this language. Close your eyes if you can, take a breath, and soften into the moment. Have you ever felt something move through you before your mind could explain it? A whisper, a nudge, a pull towards something you couldn't quite name. What if that was an angel? Not the winged beings from stained glass windows, but frequencies of light, messengers, allies. In this episode, we will explore how angelic communication really works, from dream symbols and repeating numbers to the still, quiet voice within. I'll also share pieces of my own journey, how the angels made themselves known to me at one of the hardest moments in my life, and what shifted when I finally began to listen. I want to share something personal with you. There was a time when I was utterly lost. I had left everything familiar behind, and nothing made sense. One night, in a moment of complete surrender, I heard, "You are not alone." I don't know if it came from the outside of me or within, but it filled me with peace. Since then, angelic communication has become a more regular way of life. Not a one-time miracle, but an ongoing relationship. And I am not here to convince you. I am here to help you remember how to listen. I wrote this activation in stillness, and then, trusting my own intuition, I wandered into the Marina District here in San Francisco with a friend. No map, no agenda, just following the pulse. That walk led me, as if by divine appointment, to the lagoon of the Palace of the Fine Arts. I crossed the water, I entered the rotunda, and as I stood inside its octagonal heart, surrounded by towering columns of stone, I looked up, and there they were, 8 angels, watching, guarding, witnessing. Not just carved into the architecture, but felt in the air. The entire space pulsed with presence. It reminded me of structures of light I've seen in meditation. The ones were here to anchor on Earth. Call it coincidence or call it confirmation, but I took it as a sign. This transmission is meant to find you. There is a realm of angels, and they have a purpose. Angels are not outside of you. They are frequencies of love, pure light woven into form, into breath, and into knowing. We have been taught to see them as something other, as beings in robes and wings watching from above. But what if they are closer than that? What if angels are in the quiet calm that finds you in a panic in the dark? the warmth on your skin when there's no sunlight shining, the sudden remembering of who you really are when everything around you has tried to make you forget. These aren't out there interventions. These are inward alignments. Angels don't come to fix you. They come to mirror you back to yourself. And when we understand them as intelligent frequencies, living codes of remembrance, we stop waiting for magic outside of us, and we begin to meet the divine in our every breath. Angels speak to us with a subtle language of light. The angelic realm doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It whispers. It pulses. It arrives gently, like a thought you didn't think, a warmth with no source, a silence that feels sacred. Angels speak the language of frequency, not force. They use what's already around you, nudging, aligning, synchronizing. As I read these, let your body respond. Which ones sound familiar? Which ones land like truth? How have angels spoken to you before? You might notice repeating numbers like 111, 222, or 444. A quiet signal through clocks, receipts, license plates, phone numbers. Not random, but rhythmic. They might speak to you in a song lyric that lands like a message. It plays at the exact moment you need it, or repeats itself in your mind without reason. Music is one of their favorite mediums. Angels speak to you through sensation, like chills or goosebumps, especially when someone speaks a deep truth or when you suddenly feel seen by something greater. Another favorite way they speak that many seem to be familiar with are through feathers, coins, or small objects appearing unexpectedly, often in an unusual place. And when you're doubting or asking for a sign. Angels also speak to us as a sudden urge to reach out or not. Like when you think of someone out of nowhere, or you feel the strongest no about an invitation without logical reason. Angels often speak to us with vivid dreams or visitations. Dreams with symbols, glowing figures, or repeated messages. Sometimes you may even wake up knowing something that you didn't know the day before. Loops or deja vu moments. Ooh, has this ever happened to you? Repeating events, phrases, or signs that won't let you go until you notice them. Another way they speak is through visual impressions or flashes in the mind's eye. An image, face, or place, or light seen with your inner vision, often when you close your eyes to pray or pause. When you are in the stillness. Angels sometimes have phrases that won't leave your mind. Repeating. It loops gently in your consciousness, like a whispering mantra or a directive. This is often angelic instruction wrapped in familiarity. A fun way that angels speak to many are through opening a book or a web page randomly to a line that speaks directly to your heart. These are orchestrated moments. Angels work with technology, text, and timing. A favorite way of mine is the stillness that feels sacred. Not empty but full. A pause and a thought that feels like a portal. That's presence. That is angelic communication. Angels may also speak to you or communicate through temperature shifts, breezes, or sudden warmth, especially indoors when there's no explanation. The environment responds to their presence. These are not accidents, they are alignments. Angelic messages are often felt before they are understood. The key is not to second guess, but to pay attention. Let me share a few moments of mine and others that illustrate how these messages can come through. A client once told me she kept seeing butterflies everywhere, on billboards, on book covers, in unexpected places. She didn't think anything of it until she was meditating and heard, "Transformation is safe now." That same week, she finally filed the divorce papers she'd been sitting on for years. Another time, a friend was driving and heard the word, "slow down," clear as day in her mind. Moments later, a deer ran across the road. If she hadn't listened, she would have hit it. Someone I worked with in a session told me that she often sees 444 when she's about to make a big leap. For her, that's angelic confirmation. You are supported. Keep going. These moments aren't random. They are woven into the fabric of our daily lives, if we are present enough to notice them. And the most direct way they speak to you? Through your own intuition. And that's where we go next. Intuition as an angelic frequency is something that some of us often overlook. But your intuition as an angelic channel, not separate, not secondary, and not something you need to earn. It is the original language of the soul. If you have ever had a feeling that stopped you in your tracks, a moment of stillness that felt holy, or a decision you made from your gut that turned out to be exactly right, that was it. That was divine guidance, coded through your own inner knowing. I remember once having a clear no about a speaking event. No reason why, just a deep resistance within my gut. A few days later, the event was canceled due to an unexpected emergency. That moment taught me the first whisper is often the right one. Angels will use your body, your emotions, and your imagination. Why? Because those are the tools you already carry. You might feel a tightening in your chest or a sudden breath of relief, a flash of a face, a phrase that repeats itself over and over until you finally write it down. Again, my friends, these are not coincidences. These are frequencies of communication. I invite you to learn to trust the first whisper before your mind tries to edit it, because your first feeling is often the most aligned. The angels are already speaking. The question is, will you honor what you hear or notice? Throughout history, people have described angelic encounters. Joan of Arc, guided by voices. Visionaries who heard divine instructions, even countless near-death experiences where someone felt a hand pull them back at the very last moment. Whether you interpret those experiences literally or symbolically, the message is the same. We are not alone. Guidance is available. And that guidance speaks in language the soul already understands. If you are finding this helpful so far, I invite you to pause and subscribe to the channel. This channel is a space for sacred remembering, gentle guidance, and practical frequency work. And if you are listening on a walk or resting in bed, just keep breathing. You are exactly where you need to be. As we move deeper into angelic communication, strengthening the connection becomes a natural next step. To connect with angels, you don't need a priesthood or a perfect life or a sacred text in hand. All you need is presence, openness, and a willingness to listen before logic speaks. Angels speak the frequency, not form. They meet you through sensation, synchronicity, and silence. The more you acknowledge them, the stronger the signal becomes. I invite you to start in the stillness, the quiet before the scroll on your phone, before the to-do list sets in. Place a hand on your heart and ask, what do I need to hear today? And then wait, not with expectation, but with availability. Take your questions to the page. Ask your angels something simple. Then write without thinking. Let the ink reveal what your mind cannot. Go outside. The angels speak fluently through nature. A branch bent in your path, a bird circling overhead, a sudden silence of the wind. All of it are part of their alphabet. Create a space, light a candle, place a feather or a stone on a shelf. Let it be your altar, a reminder that you are not alone here. Speak aloud, even a whisper will do. Angels of light, I am open. I am listening. Your voice is the bridge. Use it. Angels respond to the resonance in the frequency and the sound in our voices. Bless your body. Your body is not just where the message lands. It is the message sometimes. Touch your heart or your crown and say to the angels and ask them, clear my channel, anchor me in light. This is how you speak the language, not just with words, but with willingness, not with control, but with co-creation. You don't need to beg. You don't need to prove yourself. You just need to mean it. The angels are already speaking. This is how you say yes. If you'd like to sit in the energy of this connection longer, there are angelic instrumental frequencies waiting for you here on the channel, including angelic power activation at 639 hertz and a protected sleep with angels track at 528 hertz. Allow the music to carry you deeper. And if you're listening somewhere quiet, take a moment right now. Close your eyes. Ask your angels to show you a sign that you cannot ignore. Then say aloud, I am ready. I am listening. Let the sign be clear. Pause and listen. Take a mental note or jot it down. Notice how you feel in your body when you receive their divine information. If you hear nothing right in that moment, know that it is okay. Keep this in mind as you go about your day and notice the signs that you receive. Sometimes people ask, what happens if the message isn't clear? Real life application of this is to simply ask for confirmation. You might say something like, if this is truly guidance, please show me in a way that I cannot ignore. You might even say, if this is not aligned, please gently close the door. If it is, show me 3 signs by tomorrow. Give the angels something clear. They love specificity. I remember a moment last year, shortly after I had walked away from a job, that on paper it seemed like everything I had asked for, and when I asked, it showed up. It brought with it a promise of financial stability, credibility, and structure, all the things I thought I needed at the time. But once I was in the job, I felt the energy shift. It wasn't clean and it wasn't expansive. And it wasn't aligned with who I was becoming. I made the decision to leave. But afterward, I was conflicted, sitting in that tender space between clarity and questioning. One afternoon, I was on the couch sharing the full story with a friend. As I spoke, I said out loud, when I really tune in, I know that job wasn't for my highest good. And at that exact moment, one of the doors in my apartment slammed shut. Loud, sudden, unmistakable. We both jumped. And I immediately said, that's a sign. My friend nodded and laughed and replied, I was thinking the same thing. I am glad you said it first. That's your angels confirming this wasn't the path. And now I don't just see it as a door closing. I see it as a portal that I was never meant to walk through. It was not for me. A frequency that wasn't mine to carry. And sometimes the angels speak just like that, in the echo of a door you didn't need to open in the first place. Have you ever walked away from something and later received a sign it was the right choice for you to do that? Sometimes confirmation comes up after the leap, and when it does, it's sacred. You are not being demanding, you are being devoted when turning into angelic guidance. And finally, a note on discernment. Not every energy or message is angelic. Some messages are from old wounds, projections, or fears dressed in spiritual clothing. Your discernment is part of your sovereignty. That is why stillness, presence, and inner clarity are everything. The clearer you become, the cleaner the signal. So just imagine knowing you're never truly alone, moving through life with the divine guidance echoing in your intuition. This isn't about blind belief. It's about opening the channel within you so you can finally hear what's already been speaking. Before we close, I want to offer you this. Is there a moment in your life where you walked away, only later received the sign that it was the right choice? Or took a leap of faith? Or simply paused and waited for more information? These are holy confirmations. The moments where your angels or guides echo back, yes, you listened. Yes, that was the path, the doorway, the portal to what's next. If you feel called, I invite you to share your experience in the comments, because your story, your truth, might just be the signal someone else has been waiting for. You never know who will find their own clarity through your courage to speak and share. I invite you to pause and call in the energy of discernment into your life. Take a breath with me. Let this moment settle. Let everything you've heard, not just the words, but the frequency, begin to integrate. Your angels are not far away. They are already here, waiting for you to notice, waiting for you to trust. You don't need to be perfect to receive guidance. You just need to be present. If today's episode stirred something in you, an opening, a memory, a confirmation, know that it was not random. That was the work of the light. Drop one of your experiences with angels in the comments. How do you communicate with your angels? Or how do they speak to you? Your story will inspire someone who's just learning to listen. Thank you for being here inside of the Consciousness OS portal. If you'd like to keep walking this path with me, subscribe for future activations, transmission, and soul-guided teachings. And if you feel called, share this with someone who might need an angelic reminder today. If this message resonated, let it be the beginning of a deeper relationship with your own light and the unseen allies walking beside you. And remember this, my friends, your angels are always with you, not because you earned it, but because you asked. Ask and you shall receive. They are already here, waiting for your invitation, waiting for you to notice. Just speak, feel, and listen. Until next time, keep the channel of communication open. Keep trusting what you feel, sense, and hear. And remember, you are seen, you are guided, you are never alone. And there is nothing more powerful than the light that you are.